You're listening to Jazz After 9. My name's Neil Colligan here with you on this Thursday evening. Coming up this Sunday, we have the final concert of the Jazz Winnipeg Nu Sounds series. It's called the Longitude Project, Steve Kirby's Oceanic Jazz Orchestra. It's going to be on Sunday at the Park Theater. Tickets are definitely something that you should consider because this is a very ambitious project. Now think of the idea of longitude. We're talking about, if you're looking at the planet here, you're talking from going from the top of the planet to the bottom of the planet, and that's a lot of territory to cover. And certainly when you're talking about music, and my guest tonight, Steve Kirby, who is behind this project, we're talking about a lot of territory to cover. You know, Steve, what's the idea here? Where are you trying to take this? When that sounds like a hugely ambitious project.
Well, I'll try to make it as brief as I can, but see, the idea is that about 110 years ago, when jazz music first came to be, it came to be because like the whole world was scripted to segregate, and the musicians thought that was ridiculous. And in the North American situation, they came together in New Orleans and they swapped each other's music ideas, and a thing came out of it called jazz, right? So jazz was the first world music. And then what happened is that idea went all over the world, and everywhere you go, like Brazil, Cuba, East Coast, West Coast, Middle East, that particular form of jazz has a fingerprint, has a sound. You know, and what I'm looking to do is to create the North-South American sound. So I'm taking ideas from Argentina, folk legend ideas. I'm taking musical ideas, rhythms, and I'm blending them with North American ideas, old ideas that I grew up with. You know, I'm passing everything through a lot of different prisms. I'm making gumbo. That's what I'm doing. I'm making musical gumbo.
Well, with that kind of recipe, though, I mean, certainly there's going to be some people that say something doesn't belong in the recipe. You know, there's going to be someone who say, for instance, in describing this, we have something like mariachi music from Mexico.
Right, exactly.
How would you incorporate that?
Well, you know, it's first of all, you think about what a mariachi is. It's a festival. It's a party. It's a dance party. All right, you know. Now, which part of North and South America doesn't love a dance party? How can dance party not fit? You can even make a dance party out of a waltz, right? So here's their dance party, and it's usually really emotional and exciting, and it's simple rhythms, sometimes layered with simple melodies. You take that and you lean it to the left a little bit and put a little blues in it. You know, you make sections that are specific to the region, and then have them morph into sections that are not specific to the region, and you get sort of a Salvatore Dali thing. It can be a lot of fun. I tell you that, you know, I look at the orchestra as we rehearse, and I've brought in Gwen Hobeg and Tracy Wright and Alan Harrington and a lot of different people, and they come to this thing and they don't have any expectation and to the rehearsal, and as we start playing the music, I see a lot of sidelong glasses turn into big smiles and open laughter sometimes. So I hope that what happens in our rehearsal will spread right out into the audience.
Well, and it also sounds like that because when you mention people like Gwen Hobig, right, I immediately think classical.
Right.
What's she doing there to jazz performance, that kind of stuff. And I noticed that you're including things like the cello.
Yeah. Andrea Bell is there.
Yeah, she's
great too.
There's definitely some elements, and also the possibility when you're talking about First Nations music,
right,
or music of the Inuit.
Yeah, Inuvik. We're using Inuvik folk tales to inspire music, different things, and I've watched some throat singing and have written musical rhythms for throat singing and incorporated the whole orchestra for this thing. And that's going to be a gas right there.
So it almost sounds to me like you're trying to prove that jazz is the universal language.
What I'm trying to prove is that jazz is not a style of music. It's an approach to assimilate other people's styles of music. And if you can mix their style with your experience, you create something new. and you create something that a lot of people that normally won't experience this feel, you jar people out of their everyday. You shake off the dust of everyday life, and you give them a fresh take of the rest of the world. And what I hope will happen is that they realize that everybody is we're all sort of like family. You know, there's a human race, not a bunch of races. There's no boundaries. We're all like a big family, right? That's what I'm trying to get to.
And it sounds like even though sometimes we think that we have different soundtracks,
right?
It's all one soundtrack.
It's all one sound. It's all coming from somewhere. You know, the main thing that all the different styles of music have is that they have an orientation to your left foot and then your right foot. Right? It's all like this foot, that foot, this foot, that. Now, what you do with your butt on the way is specific to wherever you go. Like they do a different thing with their butt in Argentina than what they do in Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it sounds like to me that there is the possibility of dancing.
Oh, you know, by all means. And then there's some impressions like when I've written some things that were my impressions of Winnipeg. So there's one piece that is entitled Assiniboine, the Assiniboine River, you know. And I looked at an aerial map, and that thing was all over the place. And you know, it was inspired by a good friend of mine who is a triptodecaphiliac. He loves the number 13. So I set it in 13. Now, if you can dance to 13/4, then, you know, maybe you need to check in with the ballet and give some instructions. But so some of it is but even still, it feels danceable. So, you know, for me, I like to try to make everything as danceable as possible. And I try to make everything as melodic as possible, you know, and I like to have a nice story in it. So that's what it's going to be. Okay,
well, I'd like to thank you very much for coming by to try to explain all this, because in my view, the proof is definitely in the pudding, and that I highly encourage anybody who's available on Sunday night that they can go to the Park Theater and take part in this. In fact, we're going to play some music now. And when I come back, I've actually got a couple of tickets to give away for Sunday night, so please stay tuned for that. But we're actually going to go from a project that was just maybe about 2 or 3 years ago called Northern Prairie Jazz Collective. That was a lot of the people teaching at the University of Manitoba. And we're going to listen to a track called Magnolia Triangle. Just give me a little setup on that.
All right. Magnolia Triangle is a piece written by a New Orleans drummer. His name is James Black. It's real funky. It's in 5. It feels like it feels kind of bluesy, feels kind of jazzy. It makes 5 danceable. It's as though you were dancing and you had an extra set of legs. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, this is Steve Kirby, my guest tonight here on Jazz After 9, and from the album Northern Prairie Jazz Collective, this is Magnolia Triangle on Classic 107.